Otto Rank, Carl Rogers, and Existential Psychotherapy. Basic facts and basic technique. In this video, I'm going to tell you just a little bit about Otto Rank, the forefather of existential psychotherapy, a little bit about Carl Rogers, who was very influenced by Rank and, in my view, is one of the most interesting, technically, existential psychotherapists. And then I'm going to tell you about a technique that you can use to get a taste of what is involved in the existential mode of therapy. Otto Rank was a student of Freud's. He became interested in Freud's work when he was young, and he met Freud. He gave Freud something that he had written, and Freud was impressed. And he became very involved in psychoanalysis and the psychoanalytic movement. Eventually, Rank developed some of his own ideas, which Freud didn't take totally kindly to, and the two ended up breaking apart, as happened with a number of Freud's associates who were innovative in their own rights. They had to end up going their own ways. That happened with Rank. Rank was an existentialist. He was very influenced by Nietzsche, the existentialist philosopher, and you can see a lot of Nietzsche in Rank's work. Rank was interested in the importance of the human will, the creative will, the human's capacity for choice and willful action. He felt that was very important for psychological health, that a human being tended to have anxiety about life and death, the basic issues of being alive versus dying, fear of death, but also fear of life. And this was, in Rank's view, overcome by the use of the will to be creative in life, to be loving in life, creativity and love. Rank ended up influencing a variety of different people, one of them being Carl Rogers, who, at least at a certain point in time, there was a poll, and Rogers was deemed the most influential psychotherapist among psychotherapists. Now, Rogers is known for what he called person-centered therapy or client-centered therapy. Rogers would really listen very closely to what his client was saying and then kind of feed back his understanding of what the client was saying.
And I don't want to lie to Pammy either, and I don't know how.
And you sure wish I could give you the answer as to what you should tell her.
I was afraid you were going to say that.
Because what you really want is an answer.
Okay, it's like a kind of active listening. This could really be very powerful. There's a video of Rogers working with a woman named Gloria that I recommend you find on YouTube and watch. A lot of people think of Carl Rogers as like this nice, gentle guy who didn't really do much. He was just a really good listener and really empathic, and that was really all he did. That's this kind of surface level evaluation of what he was doing. There was actually quite a lot of discipline and depth in how he was working. And if you watch this video with Mary, I think with Gloria, I think you'll see that. Now I want to give you a little exercise that I think kind of can encapsulate the wisdom of this tradition. I see this more as an exercise to kind of get a taste for what this tradition is like than as necessarily something that's going to be useful to clients on a regular basis. So, take it for what it is worth. But it involves a kind of technique when it comes to difficulty making a decision to gain a kind of existential perspective through this following process, which I'll now kind of guide you through. And so maybe the one thing you don't want to do while listening to this is drive a car. I'll guide you through this little kind of psychological process. So you start by thinking of tomorrow, right? Now you're today, but tomorrow will be tomorrow, and you can imagine what tomorrow is like probably pretty easily. Now imagine 2 days from now, and now 3 days from now, and now a week from now, and now a month from now, and now your next birthday, whenever that may be, and then the birthday after that, And just note how old you'll be then. And then the birthday after that, okay? And then, when you get to a number of your age that ends in 0 or 5, then think it's 5 years after that. And then 5 years down the road from that, just imagining that day. And then 5 years down the road from that, okay? And you just keep going until you get to, let's say, a nice old age. And then you can imagine a certain point, you don't know exactly when, you'll be on your deathbed, okay? And then you'll die, okay? And that'll be the end of you, at least in this form that you're now taking, okay? Now, the goal with this process is to make your end, the aging process and death, as real to yourself as tomorrow is real to you, right? It's easy to think of, oh yeah, tomorrow will happen. You can easily imagine that. It's a little hard to think about yourself, aging 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 years from now. And in modern society, we stay far away from death. We don't see it so often. People used to see dead people all the time. We don't see dead people so much anymore, right? It's kind of kept out of view. We live in a bit of a sanitized world. Ernest Becker is the author of a book that he wrote in the 70s called The Denial of Death. He was very influenced by Rank, but it was called The Denial of Death, and says there's a massive denial of death in society, okay? So the purpose of this exercise is to make death more real to you, to make it more real to you that you have limited time. And once you've done that, then go back to the decision you're trying to make and see if you have some clearer perspective. This exercise is a way to amp up the sense of perspective, that you have a limited time. And what do you want to do with that time, right? So you can try that on for size. All right, then I hope you've enjoyed this video and found it useful and interesting, and I'll be back with more soon.